Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello. My name is Muhammad Fidas bin Abdullah, and I would like to introduce you to a term called personal protective equipment, also known as PPE. So you might wonder, what is PPE? So PPE, as might it considered by the name, is that it is a type of standard object that may be used by individuals such as me and anybody that works at a construction site that provides safety and precaution when dealing with hazardous and misfortunate events that may occur. So, how it is controlled, the PPE is formed by the Occupational Safety and Hazard Association, also known as OSHA. They will recommend the use of personal equipment, and they may teach workers to train them and give them advice upon it, and they take no charge to teach us how to use the equipment properly and benefit us when dealing with those type of activities. So how are they made? So the personal protection equipment are made by following their type or suggested protection, as such as there are such as for the five senses, which are for the eyes, nose, touch, breathing, and taste. They can be protected also, and there's also for the arms and for respiratory system. Then there's the head, and there's also for the torso and for the legs also. These are the main parts of the body that needed protection. There are also other concerns that are bringing to this type of protection, but we'll get into that later. So why is the PPE made for exists, or the PPE, the personal protection equipment, exists as they will help us to provide extra precaution and protect the user from hazardous situations, which is its main purpose. Its other purpose can be for decoration, or maybe, but it's mainly used for protection purposes. And I will now talk about next I will talk about the 10 common types of PPE, which will be shown late after on. Before we enter the top 10 common PPE within construction, first I'll talk about the risk of exposures during construction, as it will be shown after the 10 common. There will be another section where I'll be explaining both together, and it will be explained more deeply. So within the top 10 PPE, the risk of exposures they are also known as the hierarchy of controls. They have 5 types of hierarchy of controls. First is the PPE, then administrative controls, engineering controls, substitution, and elimination. So for PPE is where we do not have to change the way we work and just work normally, but we have to wear the PPE, the personal protective equipment. Then administrative controls is where it changes a few tweaks from the working construction, such as their activities. They will tweak a little bit for provide more precautions. But for engineering, we isolate some of the constructors near the construction site from the hazard. So such as like this are like in case of electrocution occurs out of nowhere. So then there is substitution, where we try to replace the location from the hazard with another thing. And then we have is elimination, where we eliminate the problem, the hazard, and we can continue back to PPE, where we will reduce the risk level towards PPE. So I will just say, you can see from a pyramid, I will show around here. So there will be on the top part, there will be elimination. Then next is, which is the highest priority, next is substitution. Then there will be engineering controls, and then administration control, and then finally will be PPE. And then I will talk about the 10 PPE, most common PPE within construction. So Top common PPE, personal protective equipment, I'll go first with the safety helmet or the hard helmet. It is a type of helmet which is made out of high durable density plastic, as we can use it upon our head. As you can see, it is hard. It is hard as a turtle's back. As you can imagine how hard is a turtle's back or shell. You can knock anything on it and it will literally reflect back the vibrations that or impact upon it and spread it across the head. As this protects us, it protects our skull from being damaged, as any impact can make a cure upon the head, such as falling objects from the sky, such as nails, maybe a rock, chances they might be. So that's for safety helmet. So for the second, work boots, here you see it has a sole, and on the top here, I can't remember what you call it, it has metal within it. This metal helps us to protect from sharp objects when we step upon anything, such as nails that are left bare on the ground, or any other material that might be a harm to our feet. And there is also the fact that these shoes are mostly waterproof, and it protects us from wet situations, and it provides friction on muddy surfaces. Next is I'll go to the gloves. For gloves, it provides friction of handling items such as heavy boxes or pushing it, pulling it maybe, and help us to handle tools that are not gentle to the hands, as our hands are mostly soft towards a lot of people using our hands. So next, on the fourth PPE we have is safety harness. A safety harness, as you can see, usually you can see safety harnesses using during bungee jumping. There are those straps around you, like a long strap around the body, and this provides us to anchor ourselves towards buildings, as we use a chain and it will anchor us with a rope towards the building, and it helps us from falling down from a certain height, as you see within bungee jumping. So next we have is safety goggles. These safety goggles are usually spread across the eyes, and you will cover also with the nose. These safety goggles are usually handled during sewing. How does it use? You may usually see when we saw that people usually sewing, that dust particles will go across the air, and it protects us from those dust particles. And with these safety goggles, it's easy to wipe them off, as they won't be a matter. So next is we have muffs or earplugs. You may see headphones. Yeah, they're almost identical, but these muffs, they do not contain any speakers within, as they noise cancel a lot of sounds from the surrounding area. Usually we use this during drilling, like drilling with a jackhammer, or like construction with a cat machine, the big claw machine, the excavator. So next we have our respirators. So respirators are usually seen within labs, where they cover from the mouth, and then they have two other ear outlets here. This provides respiratory channels other than the normal, as we inhale other fumes like toxic waste from a certain location, and they helps us to breathe easily with them, as they will filter throughout those two other outlets. So next we have our full face shields. Usually during COVID, you might see those big plastic full face shields, but for construction we usually use metal during like welding or other maybe like electricity work, as they provide more protection against sparks. Sparks are usually caused when we mess with electricity. Usually you see like a lot of sparks that occur. Those sparks might harm our eyes and face, and it causes burning, inflammation towards the skin. So they provide protection against those type of odds. So the second final is high visibility clothing, such as vests, high-lit vests with plastic reflectors upon them. With this, we can easily we can usually vision and spot other construction workers at the site, and as we glow upon them during any type of situation. Usually we use them during raining, as when doing construction during the rain, sometimes it may be difficult to find other members, and we usually flash a flashlight just in case we need to know if they are around with us, or not they might left us there alone. there may be a high chance. So for the final PPE, which is more to personal care, is also known as personal protective equipment. They're both almost similar, which is sunscreen. So why sunscreen? So when doing construction work, we are exposed mostly towards sunlight, and UV rays may hit upon us. So with sunscreen, we protect our skin, which is literally weak against this type of UV rays, and it protects us from getting sunburn, which may injure the body and really give us a disadvantage within the building the construction. And that's all for. And now I'll go next towards the part where I'll talk about the hazardous environments and the uses of this PPE with their specific environment. Hello and welcome back. Now I will explain to you about the 4 hazardous situations. 4. So the first hazardous situation on the list is falls and slips. As you may know, during construction, you fall. Like literally, you fall to the back. And then you slip, like you slip on a banana peel. So how do we avoid these situations? The risks of exposure are usually on PPE. It's not that hard to deal with it because it's a simple matter. So what PPE are used on this situation is gloves. Gloves increases the friction and we can grab things easier with them. For the second item, usually common, is boots, as they provide more friction upon the floor with our feet and we do not slip easily upon muddy or water surfaces. Next situation of hazardous environment is chemical handling. As you may know, during construction, we may face with a lot of chemicals, inflammable, uninflammable material. But so how do we handle this type of materials? Is with the respirator and face shields. As for the respirator, in case of leakage of the chemicals, we use the respirator as it provides our respiratory system another channel to breathe through, as we don't need to fume the toxic materials around us. And then for the face shields, they provide fully protection towards the face, and for the body, it's easier to wear a hazmat suit as the full face shields are already dealt with. But I didn't put that in the 10 common PPE, so that's a new thing you can add, hazmat suits. So next is height issues. During constructions, we make skyscrapers, and skyscrapers provide height issues. You know, tall buildings, yeah, I'm afraid of heights, and that's a problem. So what do we use for height issues like this are safety harnesses, as they provide us a more stronger provide us more stability upon the construction site, as we do not fall easily. Just say you're on level 10 of the construction and you don't fall easily due to this safety harness. Then we have a sunscreen. As the higher you go, you're more closer to the sun, as you can see, unless it's night. So sunscreen is good for you, as it protects you from UV rays from the direct sun, and you're okay with it. Next is the final hazardous situation is falling objects. As I say, during construction, we have those height issues. There must be falling object issues, as a lot of times objects will fall from the sky. So what do we use for falling objects is the hard helmet, as it's strong and durable and very not ductile, that's another word for it, very thick, to just say. And that's all from me for the 4 hazardous environment. Now I'll go to the conclusion. A short conclusion, I would like to conclude that the personal protective equipment helps to provide precaution and protection for us during construction, as shown by the 10 common PPE through the hazardous environments that will help us to avoid them from being in danger to us. And I hope that with the advance of technology, it helps us to expand this new PPE equipment to full use for maximum use, and that we are protected for the rest of the whole construction until it is finished. And that's all from me. Thank you.